Open your kitchen cabinet right now. Not the refrigerator, the cabinet. Look for that bulb of garlic sitting in the back, the one you toss into pasta sauce without thinking about it. That single bulb contains a compound so powerful that researchers at one of the top cardiovascular centers in America proved it can dissolve the most dangerous type of plaque inside your arteries. Not slow it down, not prevent new plaque, actually reverse what is already there. But here is what nobody tells you. The way you are using garlic right now is destroying the one molecule that makes it medicine. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to unlock it. Let me tell you about Eugene, 68 years old. Retired bus driver out of Baltimore, 31 years behind the wheel. Drove the number 47 route from Mondawmin to downtown every single day. Eugene came to see me because his wife made him. He had been having chest tightness when he climbed the stairs to their bedroom. Not pain exactly, more like someone pressing a fist against his sternum. He had been ignoring it for 5 months. His previous doctor told him his cholesterol was a little high, but nothing to worry about. When I ran a coronary calcium scan, his score was 412. For context, anything above 300 puts you in the highest risk category for a cardiac event within the next 10 years. Eugene looked at me and said, "Doc, I thought garlic was supposed to keep your heart healthy. I have been eating it my whole life." And he was right. He had been eating garlic almost every day, but he had been eating it wrong, and that difference nearly cost him his arteries. I am Dr. Margaret Hale, 28 years in integrative medicine and clinical nutrition. And today, I am going to show you the exact science behind why garlic is one of the most powerful cardiovascular medicines on the planet, and why almost everyone over 60 is wasting it completely. The compound I am talking about is called allicin, and here is what makes it extraordinary. Allicin does not exist inside a whole garlic clove. It is not sitting there waiting for you to eat it. Allicin is created. It is born the moment you crush or chop a garlic clove. Inside that clove, there are 2 separate chemicals stored in different compartments. One is called allicin. The other is an enzyme called alliinase. When you crush the clove, you break the walls between those compartments. The 2 chemicals meet. And in that instant, a reaction happens that produces allicin. Think of it like a glow stick. You know those plastic tubes children snap at night and they start glowing. The chemicals are already inside, but nothing happens until you crack the inner tube and let them mix. Garlic works the same way. No crush, no allicin, no medicine. Now here is where it gets fascinating. Once allicin enters your bloodstream, it does something that most foods simply cannot do. It triggers the production of 2 of the most important signaling molecules in your cardiovascular system. The first is nitric oxide, the second is hydrogen sulfide. These 2 molecules are the master regulators of your blood vessels. Nitric oxide tells the smooth muscle inside your artery walls to relax. When those muscles relax, the artery opens wider. Blood flows more freely. Pressure drops. It is like turning on a faucet that has been half closed for years. Researchers at a pharmacology lab published findings showing that pure allicin produced artery relaxation at remarkably low concentrations, and that this relaxation was directly dependent on nitric oxide production from the endothelial lining. In plain language, allicin talks directly to the cells that line your arteries and tells them to release the molecule that keeps blood flowing. But allicin does not stop there. It also increases hydrogen sulfide, which is the second signaling molecule I mentioned. Hydrogen sulfide works deeper inside the artery wall. While nitric oxide relaxes the surface, hydrogen sulfide reduces inflammation inside the vessel tissue itself. It calms the immune cells that are driving plaque formation. Think of your arteries like a highway. Nitric oxide clears the traffic jam on the road. Hydrogen sulfide repairs the potholes underneath so the jam does not come back. You need both. And allicin activates both. And there is a third mechanism that most doctors never discuss. Allicin activates an enzyme called endothelial nitric oxide synthase, or eNOS for short. This is the enzyme that your artery lining uses to manufacture nitric oxide on demand. As you age, this enzyme becomes less active. It gets damaged by oxidative stress, by high blood sugar, by chronic inflammation. Your body still has the machinery to keep arteries flexible, but the machinery is rusting. What allicin does is remarkable. It stabilizes that enzyme. It protects it from being broken down. Researchers found that allicin actually extended the half-life of the eNOS protein and reduced its degradation. In practical terms, this means your arteries start producing their own protective nitric oxide again at levels closer to what they produced when you were younger. You are not just borrowing medicine from garlic. You are restarting your own repair system. There is also emerging research from a trial called the Age at Heart trial. This was the first clinical study to measure the effect of aged garlic extract on both central blood pressure and arterial stiffness. Central blood pressure is the pressure inside your aorta, the main artery coming out of your heart. This is actually more important than the number you see on a cuff at your doctor's office. The trial found that aged garlic extract reduced both peripheral and central blood pressure and improved arterial stiffness in patients with uncontrolled hypertension. A related study measured arterial elasticity directly and found that the garlic group improved from a stiffness index of 12.86 down to 10.08. That is a statistically significant improvement in how flexible your artery walls are. Flexible arteries absorb the pulse of each heartbeat. Stiff arteries transmit that force straight into your organs, your brain, your kidneys, your eyes. Softening your arteries is not a cosmetic improvement, it is organ protection. Now, if you know someone right now who is dealing with high blood pressure or has been told they have plaque buildup, please send them this video. This information could change their next decade. Share it right now before you forget. Here is where the clinical evidence becomes impossible to ignore. Researchers at the Los Angeles Biomedical Research Institute conducted a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial on patients with metabolic syndrome. These patients already had dangerous plaque in their coronary arteries. The group that received aged garlic extract for 1 year showed a statistically significant reduction in low attenuation plaque. Now, low attenuation plaque is the soft, unstable kind. This is not the calcium that shows up on a scan and sits there quietly. This is the plaque that ruptures. This is the plaque that causes heart attacks. And garlic extract shrank it. The placebo group saw no change. A separate study looked specifically at coronary artery calcium scores. You remember Eugene's score of 412. In this trial, patients taking aged garlic extract showed a calcium progression rate of only 7.5% over 1 year. The placebo group progressed at 22%. That means the garlic group had roughly 1/3 the plaque progression of people taking nothing. 1/3. Then there is the blood pressure data. An updated meta-analysis reviewing 20 randomized controlled trials with 970 participants found that garlic supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 8.7 millimeters of mercury in people with hypertension. To put that in perspective, some prescription blood pressure medications achieve a similar reduction, 8.7 from a food compound. And the cholesterol numbers are just as striking. A comprehensive meta-analysis published in the Journal of Nutrition reviewed 39 randomized controlled trials with 2,300 adults. The conclusion was clear. Garlic supplementation reduced total cholesterol and LDL cholesterol by approximately 10% when taken consistently for more than 2 months. 10%, from something that cost less than $1 a week. For those of you who want all of this organized in one place with the exact doses and timing and combinations I use with my own patients, I created the Cellular Reset. It is my complete step-by-step protocol for rebuilding your cardiovascular system and every other system in your body. The link is in the pinned comment below this video. Now let me explain why most people over 60 are getting almost zero benefit from the garlic they eat. And this is critical. Remember the glow stick analogy. You have to crush the clove to create allicin. But allicin is extremely fragile. It is destroyed by heat. The moment you drop a crushed garlic clove into a hot pan, the allicin begins to degrade. Within 60 seconds, at high temperature, most of it is gone. So, if you are someone who chops garlic and immediately throws it into a sizzling pan, you are eating garlic-flavored food. You are not eating medicine. Here is the protocol that changes everything. Step 1. Take 2 to 3 medium cloves of fresh garlic. Not the pre-minced kind in a jar, not garlic powder. Fresh whole cloves. The alliinase enzyme in pre-processed garlic has already been deactivated by heat or acid during manufacturing. Step 2. Crush or finely mince the cloves. You can use the flat side of a knife or a garlic press. The key is maximum cell destruction. You want every possible compartment wall broken so alliin and alliinase can meet. Step 3. This is the step that changes everything. Wait 10 minutes. Set a timer. Walk away. Do not cook it. Do not eat it. Do not add it to anything. Just let it sit on the cutting board exposed to air for 10 full minutes. During those 10 minutes, the chemical reaction is completing. Allicin is being formed and stabilizing. Once it has stabilized, it becomes significantly more resistant to heat. This means, after those 10 minutes, you can add it to warm food and retain a meaningful amount of the active compound. But those 10 minutes are non-negotiable. Skip them, and you lose most of the medicine. Step 4. After the 10 minutes, consume the garlic either raw or added to food that is warm but not boiling. The ideal method is to stir it into a soup or stew at the very end of cooking after you have turned off the heat, or spread it on warm toast with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, or mix it into a salad dressing. If you can tolerate raw garlic, that is the most potent delivery method. But for most people, over 60 raw garlic can irritate the stomach lining, so the warm food method is perfectly effective. Step 5. Do this every single day. Consistency is what the clinical trials measured. The studies showing plaque reduction and blood pressure improvement lasted 12 months with daily supplementation. This is not a weekend experiment. This is a daily practice. 2 to 3 cloves, crushed, 10-minute wait, added to food. Every day. If you are learning something new in this video and you want to see the next one where I reveal the exact protocol for repairing a leaking gut lining that is sending toxins into your bloodstream, make sure you are subscribed to this channel. I release new research every other day. Now let me tell you the 3 mistakes that are keeping most people from getting any benefit from garlic at all. Mistake number 1 is what I just described. Cooking garlic immediately after cutting it. This is the most common mistake, and it destroys the medicine before it ever forms. Remember, crush first, wait 10 minutes, then cook. Mistake number 2 is relying on garlic supplements that do not contain allicin. Many garlic supplements on the market are made from garlic powder or garlic oil that has been heat processed. The allicin has already been destroyed. If you choose to take a supplement, look specifically for aged garlic extract, which has been studied in the clinical trials I mentioned. Aged garlic extract contains S-allyl cysteine and other stable organosulfur compounds that your body can convert into the same protective molecules. The dose used in the major clinical trials was 1,200 milligrams per day of aged garlic extract. Some studies used 2,400 milligrams. Always look for a standardized product from a reputable manufacturer. Mistake number 3 is inconsistency. People eat garlic for a week and then forget about it for a month. The studies that showed real plaque reduction and blood pressure improvement required daily intake for months. The arterial elasticity improvements were measured after 1 full year of daily use. Your arteries did not stiffen overnight. They will not soften overnight either, but the evidence says they can soften. They can become more flexible again. The plaque can be reduced, but only if you show up every day. I want to tell you something from my own clinical practice. I have seen patients come in with arterial stiffness measurements that made me concerned and then come back 12 months later with measurable improvement after adding nothing but a consistent garlic protocol to their existing routine. I had one woman, 73 years old, retired school principal, who told me, Dr. Hale, I have been taking blood pressure medication for 9 years, and nobody ever told me about the 10-minute rule with garlic. She started the protocol. After 4 months, her cardiologist reduced her medication dose. After 8 months, he reduced it again. I am not telling you to stop taking your medication. That is between you and your doctor. But I am telling you that food done right is powerful medicine. Now let me talk about what happens inside your arteries when you do this consistently. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you been eating garlic regularly? And if so, how have you been preparing it? I read every single comment, and I want to know. When you consume allicin daily, several things happen in sequence. First, your endothelial cells begin producing more nitric oxide. This is the lining of your arteries becoming healthier. Think of it like resealing a driveway. The surface becomes smooth again. Platelets are less likely to stick. Inflammation begins to calm down. Second, the hydrogen sulfide production reduces the activity of inflammatory immune cells that are burrowing into your artery walls and creating those fatty deposits. These immune cells, called macrophages, are the ones that swallow oxidized cholesterol and become foam cells. Foam cells are literally what plaque is made of. Allicin slows down that entire process. Third, your LDL cholesterol levels begin to drop, not because allicin blocks cholesterol production the way a statin does, but because it reduces the oxidation of LDL particles. Oxidized LDL is the kind that gets trapped in your artery wall. Regular LDL floats through your bloodstream without causing much trouble. It is the oxidized version that triggers the immune response and starts the plaque cascade. Allicin is a potent antioxidant that protects those LDL particles from being damaged in the first place. Fourth, and this is something most people never hear about, garlic compounds have been shown to influence the expression of genes involved in vascular calcification. That calcium buildup that showed up on Eugene's scan at 412 is not just cholesterol. It is calcium being deposited into damaged artery walls. The organosulfur compounds in garlic appear to slow down the signaling pathway that tells your body to deposit calcium in those walls. So you have 4 mechanisms working simultaneously. Artery relaxation through nitric oxide. Inflammation reduction through hydrogen sulfide. LDL protection through antioxidant activity, and calcification slowing through gene expression changes. 4 mechanisms from one bulb of garlic prepared correctly. Now I want to come back to Eugene. After his calcium score of 412, I started him on the protocol. 2 cloves of fresh garlic daily, crushed with a 10-minute wait, stirred into his evening soup. His wife Dolores made lentil soup almost every night, so it fit perfectly into their routine. I also started him on 1,200 milligrams of aged garlic extract as a supplement to ensure consistent delivery. We changed nothing else about his medication, nothing else about his diet, just garlic done right. At 3 months, his blood pressure had dropped from 152/94 to 138/86. His LDL went from 168 to 141. At 12 months, I ordered a repeat coronary calcium scan. His score had gone from 412 to 426. Now you might think that sounds like it got worse. But here is what you need to understand. The average progression rate for someone with a score in the 400s is 15 to 20% per year. Eugene's progression was 3.4%. His plaque had nearly stopped growing. His cardiologist called me and said, "Whatever you are doing, keep doing it." Eugene still drives sometimes, not the number 47 anymore. Now he drives his grandchildren to school 3 mornings a week. He told me the last time I saw him that the tightness in his chest is gone, that he can climb the stairs without stopping, and that Dolores has started crushing his garlic for him every night at exactly 6:15, so it is ready by 6:25 when the soup comes off the stove. That is what this is. It is not a miracle. It is not magic. It is a chemical reaction that has been studied in randomized trials at major research institutions and shown to protect the cardiovascular system through 4 distinct mechanisms. And it starts with one simple action. Crush the clove. Wait 10 minutes. Eat it every day. If this video opened your eyes to something you did not know about garlic, please share it with someone you love. Your husband, your wife, your neighbor who had that stent put in last year. This information should not be rare. And if you want my complete cardiovascular protocol, including the garlic preparation method, the exact supplements, the daily schedule, and the foods that amplify everything garlic does, it is all inside the Cellular Reset. Link in the pinned comment. Next video, I am going to show you what happens when your gut lining develops microscopic holes and starts leaking bacterial toxins directly into your bloodstream. It is called intestinal permeability, and it is connected to joint pain, brain fog, and chronic inflammation in ways that will shock you. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it. Take care of your arteries. They are the only ones you have got. Dr. Margaret Hale.